Hey, I'm Doug. Welcome to Backcountry Pilgrim, a channel all about camping, hiking, backpacking, and especially today, the gear that goes with it. Today I am going to empty out my gear closet and completely reorganize everything according to a new system that I have come up with for myself. I'm going to take you along with me and let you see what I did. I hope it'll help you out. If you have been camping, hiking, or backpacking for long, you have probably amassed a pretty serious amount of gear. And if you are a hiking, camping, or backpacking YouTuber, you probably have even more because of checking out gear and reviewing it. Now, unlike some YouTubers, I do not have an entire gear room. I don't even have a full gear closet. In fact, I live in a house with a family of 6, so I don't have a whole lot of space to keep my gear. Furthermore, I have destroyed gear by keeping it in suboptimal conditions. Out here in California, where the weather can be fairly extreme, I just don't feel safe keeping my gear out in a garage or in an attic or outside at all. And that means I need to find space for all that stuff. Now, this weekend, my wife took the kids to visit her sister out of town, and so I had enough time to get all of my gear out, spread it all over the living room, anywhere I needed to put it, and roll around in it. No, I'm just kidding. I only did that for a minute. To spread all of it out, see what I had, see what I really use, what I don't, and what I sometimes use, and find some way to organize it in a way that would make the stuff that I use often readily accessible, but not completely get rid of the things that I don't use as often. Now, before I got started, I read up on gear storage and I wrote down some ideas that I had, and I came across 2 major theories on how to store gear. One of them is according to activity, and the other is according to category. Storing gear by category means that you put like things with other like things, and you try to keep them in the same place. So for example, if you have tents, you would probably want to keep all of those tents in one place, along with any accessories like ground sheets or tent stakes. And you would repeat this with your cook system, with your hydration system, etc. Now, I liked the category theory because that's kind of how I tend to think. The difficulty is when you get ready to pack up, you've got to kind of go through everything and make decisions about what you want. And if you're anything like me, you usually make kind of the same decisions, and so it ends up being a bit of a waste of time. The other major theory was to pack according to activity, which means that you set up your gear in such a way that you can quickly gather everything you typically use for a given activity all at once, and this saves you time getting out the door. In addition to the theory of packing by activity, I came across an idea that I liked, and that is to actually pack up your backpack for whatever activity you typically use it for with the gear that you typically use for that activity. Not only does this save a lot of space from trying to put all of your gear in different drawers or totes or whatever, but it is also a lot more efficient when it comes time to get ready and get going. Now, I decided on kind of a hybrid model. I divided my activities into hiking and backpacking, in other words, day hiking or overnight hiking, and then I picked the 2 backpacks that I typically use for those activities. I would load up my day pack with my usual day hiking gear, and then load up my backpacking backpack with the additional gear that I usually bring for an overnight. And this way, my day pack is always ready to go, minus food and water, and when I'm about to go backpacking, I can just dump the gear in the day pack into the backpack. After that, I decided I would take all of the gear that I don't typically bring on every day hike or every backpacking trip and store it in my totes and drawers, etc., according to category, so that if I decided I needed to swap out what I usually use with something else, I could quickly find all of that kind of thing in one place. So, having decided that, it was time to go into my gear closet, empty out all those totes and drawers and boxes, and see what I had. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take you along on that journey so you can see what I had and what I did with it and how it turned out, and hopefully it'll help you organizing your gear. So I'm starting off by going through all of my hiking backpacks that I've ever used and making sure that they are completely empty. I'm actually finding all kinds of good treasures in here, and you got to be careful to make sure you open every pocket, because on some of these there's a lot of them. And the idea is to get these stripped all the way down to where they can be stored if they're not going to be the primary backpack that I use for any particular activity. Make sure that you actually look everywhere, because sometimes you find stuff in the weirdest places. What I do is I take everything out of the pack, and unless it is something that only works with that pack, I take it out. If it is for that pack, I put it back, even if it's going into storage. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is go around through all this gear and put together my day hiking kit. Everything I would want on a day hike that is not perishable. I'm going to put all of that in my day hiking backpack. All right, that's not too much stuff. So now the next thing I'm going to do is pack my day pack the way I would like it to be packed with the stuff that's in it. And then all I will need is food, water, and maybe some electronics, and I will be ready to go on a typical day hike. Then this pack can just be hung in my closet. It will take up no floor space, and it won't take up very much more room than it would have if it wasn't packed. But now it'll be ready to go, and I'll have more space in these bins for more storage. All right, now that I have my day hiking pack packed, I'm going to grab my full-size overnight backpack and fill it with the things that I will pretty much always take on a backpacking trip, minus the things that are in the day pack, which I will have to empty into the big pack when it's time to go on a backpacking trip. All right, so now as you can see, I have everything that I'm going to need for an overnight backpacking trip, including my pack, in a single bin. Now, I can either leave all that in the bin, or because this is stuff that, say, unlike my quilt or my puffy jacket, can be stuffed into a backpack without harming it, I'm going to go ahead and pack the backpack, and then that can hang in the closet, not taking up any space, and I will still have 4 entire bins for all my extra gear. I'm going to take all of my food and put it in my bear can so that I can see it and sort through it when it's time to get it, but also to keep it ready in case I just want to grab it and go. All right, so check it out. I now have my day pack and my overnight backpack packed. I've got my food in my bear canister, and all of that can just get set in the closet, and I still have 4 big totes ready to go. This is all secondary gear that I don't absolutely need for any particular trip, but that I want to keep for things that I will need it for, such as 4th season, or backup gear for friends, or just something to mix it up. With the exception of that quilt, everything out here now, including these backpacks, is something that can go into longer-term storage and not get in the way. You can see I still have a long way to go with the clothes, but I have a lot of places to put it. The rest of this stuff I'm going to sort into piles by category, and that way when I'm looking for something that isn't part of my regular kit, I'll have a better idea where to start. All right, well obviously this is going to take a while, but you get the idea of what I'm doing here. What I'm going to do once I'm in piles is I'm going to see what I think can fit in these totes and see if it makes sense to organize them in any way. Okay, this is basically it. 3 drawers, 1 box that will go behind those 3 drawers in the closet, 4 totes, 2 on each stack, and my quilt. What I ended up with are 2 backpacks hanging full of gear in my closet, a bear canister full of whatever food I have for hiking and backpacking, 4 big totes, 3 drawers, and a box that goes behind the 3-drawer system that I can use to collect my tall things like trekking poles, ice axes, sleep pads, and stuff like that. Doing this allowed me to keep enough space to put my hanging clothes in, and believe it or not, the closet door shut when I tried it. All right, that's it. I hope this video was helpful to you and maybe gave you some ideas for your gear storage. If you have some ideas that I did not include in this video, I would love to hear them. Put them down in the comments, because I know I could certainly use help with my gear storage, and I'm sure a lot of other viewers could as well. If the video was helpful, I would love it if you gave it a like. And if you are not yet a subscriber to Backcountry Pilgrim, you can subscribe hitting that red button down there, and also click the bell if you want to know when new videos drop. Until next time, I am Doug. This is Backcountry Pilgrim. Thanks for watching.